All right, troops, strong and conditioned, live and direct from his bed. Now, I'm probably taking the raw approach a bit too far at this point, but I'm watching The Boys on Amazon Prime, and I've just got these thoughts swirling about my head. I'm just trying to come up with content ideas, and something just came to me. And it's something with regards to the principles that I follow to dictate my progress on any given program that I am currently on at this moment in time. And I'm going to share some of those principles with you. I think these principles are quite sound because they're simple and they can give you a foundation on which you can build upon, or they can give you something that you can wrap your head around while you're training in order to create a stimulus. Now, the reason I have been thinking about these things is because it's information I share in a gym on a daily basis. As a gym instructor or as a fitness instructor, my job is to convey information which can be quite complex and try and break it down into the most simplest of forms so that the average Joe who comes in off the street can easily understand how hard they have to work, how things should feel, and what they should do in the gym in order to get results. Now, it's easy to tell people just be consistent, have a degree of intensity, but for a 45-year-old woman that's walking in off the street, they don't really know how to realise or actualise those terms. They just want something that they can understand and begin to use from the get-go. Now, when people come into the gym, they're looking for a program. People come in and they sign up for a fitness program. And the conventional method for administering or prescribing a fitness program tends to be 3 sets of 10. That's the classic rep and set scheme that we've all used to devastating effect to a certain degree. It works. It worked for me. It's worked for you probably. It works for most people. But the pitfalls of that system is that the person is looking just to achieve that number. And for a lot of people, it's by any means necessary. They don't care how hard or how easily they have to work to get there. They just want to get to the magic number. They just want to get to 10. And they do their 10 reps and then they get off the machine or the equipment they've been using. And they say, well, the guy with the ginger beard told me to do 10 reps, so I did it. So when's the magic happening? And that is the wrong approach for people, particularly fitness instructors who are administering programs to people. The best approach in that respect is that you need to take someone and put them on a piece of equipment and show them from the offset how a set should feel. Not how many reps they should be doing, not how many sets they should be performing, but how things should feel. That is the foundation. They need to understand how a hard set should feel when they're performing one. And how do we implement that strategy? Well, we implement that strategy by creating this principle. Now, the whole thing about training, particularly burpees, weightlifting, bodybuilding, is that there needs to be a stimuli created, and we can only create that stimuli through, to put it in layman's terms, by straining. Now, for example, if I tell someone to perform 10 reps and they perform the first 5 reps with a lot of power, the bar speed, the machine speed is moving at the fastest speed that they can push it at, generating force. Then the second 5 reps, things start to slow down, but they're still generating the same force to get that out or in there. Only 5 reps were producing a degree of strain, but it was the reps that were producing strain which were the only ones that were going to create a return on their investment. So for 10 reps, 5 were pointless and the other 5 were effective. So it's not really a big return on your investment because the first 5 are just warming you up. If anything, they're probably like wearing the joints down to a certain degree. They're impacting your ability to recover. They're pointless. So we need to establish weight which is straining from the offset. And when I say strain, I don't mean like you can only get like 3 reps out of it, 2 reps, but a sufficient weight which the machine or the bar speed's moving quite slowly from the offset and there's a degree of strain. And the reason we need to sort of like realise that the strain is the key factor here is because the strain is creating stress and stress forces adaptation. Those first 5 reps didn't force adaptation. The last 5 reps forced adaptation because they genuinely stressed the body, because your body's not counting this shit. It's just feeling tension over a period of time. So we want to be creating strain from the offset because we want to create stress, because stress forces the adaptation that we are looking for. And I like to equate it with like a traumatic incident in your life. You go through a traumatic incident which takes over things, requires you to change as a person, as a whole. Even though it's a horrific experience, 9 times out of 10, you come out a better person at the end. And weights, burpees work in the same fashion. If we're not stressing the body, then we are not going to force the body to adapt. Anything else is pointless up to that point. So that is the principle that drives my training, which is this stressing me out? And I don't mean mentally, I mean physically. Is this forcing the adaptation through the medium of stress? I'm pushing hard, the bar speed's slowing down, that's stressing my body. That's putting my body under a serious load of which it has to adapt. I'm using speed of the implement that I'm using to dictate if there is going to be an outcome which is favourable in relation to the activity. And that can also be used in a burpees context. If you're doing 100 burpees, then the first 25, you're just warming up. The second 25 up to 50, things start to get a little heated. And then when you start to move up and you can start to feel your heart rate starting to really creep up and you start to weather the storm, these are the burpees which matter, the ones where you're forced to click in, embrace the darkness and power on. These are the burpees that are going to shape you. So we need to create stimulus through stress, stressing the body to a certain degree. And that is the core principle which ultimately should drive your training. Are you stressing the body? If you're not stressing the body, then you are maintaining what you have already created at that point. Or even worse, you are just creating fatigue. You're just impacting recovery for something that's pointless. So most training sessions, to be productive, have to be stressful. That is the guiding principle that I use, particularly when lifting weights at this point. My weights need to be moving slow from the offset. They need to be generating a lot of force, but whatever I'm using at that point in time has to be slowing down to a certain degree. If it's moving fast, it's pointless. But it has to be taken to that point through smart training. You need to be smart about it. You just don't go into the gym. You just don't whip out 200 burpees in record time. There's always that warm-up process. So we need to be kind of smart about it as well. I don't want anybody trying to do a 200 kilogram squat with no warm-up. However, that is the principle that drives me. It's, am I creating stress? Is the body getting stressed? Is things taking their toll? That's when return on investment will start to bear fruit, so to speak. So guys, that's a principle that maybe you should adopt in your training. It's simple and it can also help you find that sweet spot with regards to realizing that the work has to be super hard, it has to be intense, and it has to be performed over repeated sessions. and also we have to record things to see progress taking place. So, guys, back to the boys. Stay strong and stay conditioned.